I'm going to give you a little tour of how we brought together Red Hat Developer Hub and Red Hat OpenShift AI. So this is where, as a developer, I can self-serve with my portal and build out everything I need to build a large language model infused application. So an AI infused application. So let's dive right in. The first thing that you get when it comes to a Backstage-based implementation and Developer Hub is this concept of the catalog. And you can see there's a ton of different things in the catalog. And one of the things that are out there is the model itself. In other words, the model can be represented in the catalog, and I can just kind of peruse the model and check things out. Like in this case, I might want to look at the API for that specific model, and I can even interact with its endpoint. For instance, I could just query the model to decide what, or query the model server, I should say, and figure out exactly what models it's hosting. Okay, you can see there it is. It's the Parasol Instruct model. And if I go look on OpenShift AI, that is in fact the one we're running right now under the model server. So interaction with the model is available within Developer Hub from that perspective. In addition, I can look at all the other catalog items and look out here and see what all my fellow brothers and sisters are doing within the enterprise, working on their various applications, understanding the dependencies associated with those applications, and drilling down on those things if I choose to. But here, I want to build a brand new application, right? Net new. So let's say I don't know what I'm doing yet. I want to start from scratch. I'm going to hit the Create button and look at one of these Golden Path templates. And you can see I have templates that secure the software supply chain, provide best practices in terms of a trusted application pipeline. But I have the different languages supported here: C#, Go, Quarkus, etc., Node.js, Python, Spring Boot. I'm going to pick specifically, though, one that I have set up for this environment, and that is a secure chatbot, right, with a large language model imbued inside it. So I'm going to choose here, and let me go and give this guy a name. I'm going to call this the, let's call this the employee bot, okay? And because over time, I will make it an employee assistant, right? For people within my enterprise, that's what I'll do. They'll have a personal assistant here, and this will be what this new bot is. I can pick different models from the catalog. You can see I have different models I can pick from. I'm going to pick the Parasol Instruct one, since that's the one that we already have provisioned within a Red Hat OpenShift AI environment. I'm going to hit Next here, and I'm going to hit Quay. And yes, so for Quay, that's where I'm going to put my artifacts, my specific container artifacts, and then GitLab, where I'm going to put all my source artifacts, right? So all the different components of the source repository holds my sample application code. It holds my Argo CD, GitOps deployment repository, and we'll go look at that here in a second as it gets all that provisioned into the cluster. There's actually a lot of work happening underneath the covers here. As this template runs, as this wizard gets through its execution, it will produce not only the components in the catalog, in the Developer Hub catalog you see here, but it also and generates the GitLab repository with the source code in it. We'll go look at that in a second. But it also produces the GitOps repository associated with this as well, which includes the ability to roll out the AI infrastructure that I need. Here is another Helm template, as well as the application that we're going to be looking at, and of course the build environment to give us that secure software supply chain. So think of that as the Tecton environment also. All that is part of the provisioning process, and we're not going to wait for all that provisioning to occur. You can actually monitor the CD tab here and see those things unfolding, syncing, progressing, etc. But what I want to do is go to one that's already gone through this process, so we don't have to spend time waiting on it. So let me jump over here to another project I created called the Claims Bot. And if I look at the Overview tab here, I could jump into the OpenShift Data Science and see that model is out there and up and running. Okay, so there's that model. If I look specifically at the model, you can see that it is NVIDIA GPU backed up, how much memory and CPU it's using. And of course, we pulled that from a Minio bucket. You could even come in here and see that this is the S3 that it came from as an example. So the storage mechanism, the model itself is running, how the model is configured, all that's there. But as a developer, I just want to use the endpoint, right? I just want to work with that thing. So I'm going to go here into dev spaces, right? So I already have dev spaces already loaded here. And I'm going to now interact with that model. So for the first thing is, let's just go in here and look at, see what it looks like right now. So this is AI Bob. And I can say, okay, hello, Bob. Why is, let me type today, is the sky blue? Okay. So let Bob try to respond to that. And what I'll do, okay, fantastic. So, it looks like a decent sciencey kind of description there as to why the sky is blue. Fantastic. But I'm going to have a little fun with this. I'm going to actually now modify this thing. So let's go over here and call this AI Chuck. Okay, and let's modify the system message associated with AI Chuck and give it a different set of parameters. As a matter of fact, we're going to make it Chuck Norris, a Chuck Norris joke specifically. So let me hit refresh here. Nice thing is I get the automatic save, edit, save, refresh, all that. And this is a normal behavior here. So in other words, I can interact with my application even though it's interacting with that AI model. I can say, why is the sky blue? Ask the same question again, see what kind of response we get. And the sky is blue because Chuck Norris is too tough to be seen. Interesting. Okay, that's a fun response. Let's see what it does with a second question. The sky blue, meaning this. I want to see the same question, see if how it responds next time. Okay. All right. Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. And then let's ask it one more question. Why did the chicken cross the road? So, and again, I'm just interacting with this guy, and I can kind of see what it looks like there. And let's say that's what I want, right? I've made my application. I could now go in and add retrieval augmented generation. I could basically work on tools. I could do all the other things I can do and make out the rest of this enterprise application, integrate with databases, talk to other systems. But for now, this is good enough, right? I just want to kind of see this end-to-end process. I'm going to check in the source code. I made this guy Chuck, and I'm going to come here and say sync. And yes, we want to sync all our changes. And that actually kicks off the trusted application pipeline. So if I go back here to my developer hub, and I can see here there is a new pipeline running, and it is the end-to-end pipeline that provides the secure software supply chain that you've probably seen from me before. Here, let's actually look at one that's already finished instead of waiting on that one. Okay, so let's come here now. And so you can see that we're going to scan the source. Let me scroll up a little bit. Scan the source. All right. Obviously, we want to scan things. We want to build and sign the image. This is using our trusted artifact signer. So it'll actually build that image in a secure way, sign it with the given artifact signature, SBOM it, software bill of materials, and that goes to Trusted Profile Analyzer. So both those additional artifacts are created and placed out there from a RHOAI standpoint. Then our ACS scans run. If I look at my RHOAI, let's go check that out real quickly. You can see there's the additional artifacts, the signature, the attestation, the SBOM, all that was created in that pipeline. And if I come back and look at this pipeline again, and look at the dashboard we have for ACS, you can see that we have image scanning, checking all those CVEs. I have my policy checking, like no package managers within the image, no yum install this, no yum install that. Deployment checks, like for instance, I got to get my deployment YAML correct, and I got to have the appropriate CPU and memory set correctly. So all those policy checks are all part of that. And I've shifted left now so the developer knows what the right thing to do is with their application. In other words, they want to secure that software supply chain. I want to pause here and let this other pipeline finish running, and then I want to go see that change as it's been rolled out. Okay, our pipeline is completed, and it's going through the process of getting the SBOM, getting the signature, the attestation, putting the right artifacts in RHOAI, putting the right artifacts in Trusted Profile Analyzer, ACS checks, even updated the recore, right? So now we have that solution updated as well, and resynced it so that it actually is now running in our dev environment. We have a dev environment, pre-prod or staging and prod. Let's go check this one out here. Open that URL, and let me make sure that we are refreshed correctly here. And that's AI Chuck. Let's see. All right. Why did the chicken cross the road? Sometimes the responses to this one are particularly funny when you have a Chuck Norris persona involved here. Let's see. It became aware that some pesky dilapidated wood structures presented an impassable obstacle. Okay. And through sheer force of will, it transcended that limitation. Love the Chuck Norris bot. In any case, that is the end of it. One other thing I'll show you, though, just so you see the remaining parts of the trusted software supply chain. If I go back to the catalog item here, I have one that's already been completed, and that is the chatbot one here. It has additional pipeline that's been executed. That involves our enterprise contract. So that is the tool that validates for SALSA compliant software levels for supply chain artifacts. It checks that attestation, checks the signature, gives us all a green, and if that works well, then it publishes it to the remaining environments, pre-prod, and then, of course, another pipeline executes and goes to production. But now you have your application rolled out across your different environments. Again, all of this was automatically provisioned through the use of our template here. It basically set up a GitOps repository. If you want to see the GitOps repository, it's sitting back here, like the one I just created was in the employee one as an example. And that basically had the Bootstrap artifact, which created the dev build, that is the Tecton infrastructure, secure software supply chain infrastructure, and the AI build, which is the RHO Red Hat OpenShift AI infrastructure. And that's what created the artifact that we see over here. If I go look at data science projects, you can see there's the employee one I created earlier, and now the model is successfully deployed out there. We get a nice green checkbox, and again, it basically sets up on an NVIDIA GPU. So all that infrastructure preset for us with GitOps-based deployment, and again, the integration of Developer Hub, plus our trusted software supply chain, and Red Hat OpenShift AI for building an AI-infused application.